What's up, everyone? Welcome to my corner of the internet. I'm your host, Ryan Cramer, and this is Crossover Commerce, presented by PingPong Payments, the leading global payments provider helping sellers keep more of their hard-earned money. What is up, Internet? I'm your host, Ryan Cramer, and welcome to episode 85 of Crossover Commerce, presented by PingPong Payments. Today's episode is titled Influencers, Publicity, and Branding, Growing Your Online Business, and Tips and Tricks How to Do That. Thanks again for everyone who's watching us live on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Twitter, or if you're catching this on audio format, not on Clubhouse, but if you're downloading this on Amazon, Spotify, Apple or Google Podcasts, truly anywhere where you can download a podcast, that's where we're going to be. Just search Crossover Commerce, presented by PingPong Payments, and you can listen to today's episode as well as past guests as well. But do me a favor, go ahead and follow, like, share this episode on social media, and hit that bell to be notified when future episodes go live. I produce 4 to 5 episodes per week with leaders in the Amazon and e-commerce space, so you don't want to miss a single episode with all their tips, tricks, fun facts, and insights into the industry and both Amazon e-commerce across the board. That is my goal to bring to you, the listener and the watcher, with every person I bring on today. But I'm really excited. Again, if you can't watch this live, go ahead and just follow this on social media. Follow all of our guests on social media. Follow myself. We're on all the social media platforms, Clubhouse, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, you name it, we're there. Just go ahead and search either Ryan Cramer or our guest. Links are actually going to be in the show notes below. So go ahead and click those and follow those now and after the show as well. But about today's guest, he has been the digital marketing space since 2008 and has been an e-commerce brand owner selling on Amazon since 2015. He has $1 million seller. He is $1 million Amazon seller, international keynote speaker on chatbots and influencer marketing. He is also, as well as chatbot marketing automation, His brands have received consulting from Shark Tank's Barbara Corcoran and have been featured on Rachel Ray's show and Forbes magazine, on televised and print news, and in national magazines and blogs, as well as Crossover Commerce before. So I'm gonna add those on there as well. So as the founder and CEO of Chat Marketing University, he also teaches messenger marketing automation strategies, which leverage ManyChat for product launching, ranking, list building, and review generation to Amazon e-commerce sellers, as well as any business owners truly using that platform. His new company, actually, the Chat Agency, offers full service conversational marketing services leveraging chatbot marketing automation, including his proprietary Nano Influencer framework. We're going to dive into all of that fun stuff today. But welcome to the show, Paul Barron. Back to the show, I should say. Friend of the show, Paul Barron of the Chat Agency. Paul, what is going on, man? I can't unmute you.
I know. It's not like I'm never on podcasts or never on Zoom, and I always end up looking like a moron. Like, oh, am I sharing the right screen? And I talk for a bit, and then I don't realize I'm unmuted.
And that's how the cookie crumbles, right? Right. Some of us, it's just the beauty of going live on these platforms. But hey, I appreciate you hopping on today. I know it's maybe a little bit early. What, 10 Mountain Time, your time?
Not that early, but 10 Mountain Time. Today is technically off for the Chat Agency. We told our team that if they wanted to take a long weekend to be with their families, they could. So I got a really light workload today.
Same here.
I'm gonna go cycling later and then play some frisbee golf. So
what a nice collection of random things. I would say never like cycling and then do frisbee golf.
Well, I'm gonna bike. This is how I bike. That's me biking
with your hands.
With my hands, I bike like this. I get in a lot of accidents. I don't really understand why. Apparently, you're not supposed to pedal
like that. Yeah, we might need to like reteach ourselves how to ride a bike. Like supposedly you forgot. Like other people never forget. We might have to teach
right.
you.
Yeah. So,
no, but yeah, you're a busy guy though. But like that's awesome that you're able to like just take time for yourself. I think like you're one of the few people who really put it out there. Like, hey, I take time for myself, my family, and make like I don't want to say carve out like that. That's first and foremost. Family's first, and you know, you've talked about that on your show. You're a busy guy. You have your hands in so many different things. You're an Amazon seller. You're running multiple agencies. You're on Clubhouse constantly. What's kind of like, what's been since we last spoke late last year to now, like what's been that balance like for you? Anything else going on that you have going on? in the works?
Anything else? There's always
Anything else? What else?
Well, like last night, I had an idea for a business, so I wrote it. I don't know if you ever have those, like you just can't sleep. So I was in bed at, I don't know, a reasonable hour, like 11-ish, 11 something. I just could not sleep. And so I just had this idea. So I was writing it down. And yeah, that's just the way that my brain works. My brain is always on, and it's hard for me to like shut it off. So maybe that'll happen. Maybe it'll never happen. We don't know, but it's in my long list of ideas. I have this running list of business ideas or product ideas that I keep on my phone. And it's just so that I can, like, I'm about to fall asleep. Like, I got to get it out of my brain. And then I'll wake up and I'm like, oh, that was stupid. Why did I write that down? Or it could be like, wow, that was really brilliant. Or I think it's brilliant. Problem is most of my brilliant ideas they're actually brilliant. They're brilliant enough that other people have already done them and they're doing a really good job with them. So
exactly. I mean, and that's not like the fact of like, it doesn't mean that you can't improve upon it, right? That's what we tell Amazon sellers is like, if there's something out there, but you can improve upon it, that's that, one up factor of everyone's trying to one up and trying to diversify, but you're launching new brands though. You're not just selling and consulting. You're also continuing to innovate and grow new brands coming up, correct?
Yeah. We got some coming out this summer. Hopefully this summer. We're going through, cause I showed you all the branding stuff and I'm really excited about it.
It's really good. I like it. Yeah, it was behind the scenes and I got to get a look at it. And I really enjoyed like the thought process you put into it, because like a lot of this is the conversation that we've had both offline, but also in Clubhouse. I think there's this inflection point in the industry, right? Where people are, and this is not what we're exactly talking about, but we can talk a little bit, is that inflection point of, do I just burn and turn my brands now and trying to get out while the iron's hot? Or do I spend the time, money, and effort into building a brand when, private equity comes into play and you start to really see some people buying brands and not just Amazon storefronts and products?
Right.
Is that, you think that's a conversation that lots of people are having in the space?
I talked to Norm last night about that specific thing, because there's one of the many things that I've been doing. I was working with a couple of my friends that, one was a speaker, one was an attendee at $1 Billion Seller Summit in 2019. And can I just say, like, I'm really excited about in-person events again. Like,
same here.
Clubhouse networking is really fun, but there's a handful of people that I've met on Clubhouse. I'm like, man, I would really like to meet you in person. Like, you're a cool person. You're cool dude, cool chick, like amazing things. And not all of them are in the Amazon space either, but I'm just like, you can't get that same collaboration of minds that you can. But anyway, so I was working on a branding course, and the hard thing, so the difference between the branding course and the Chat Marketing University is challenging because the tech changes all the time, like literally all the time. I would record a video and then it would be obsolete in a week. So that's the challenge. It's
you're talking about ManyChat. You're talking about not just ManyChat, right? Because ManyChat's its own entity. You're talking about how that integrates with like Facebook and other sorts of like third-party social media platforms in order to drive traffic and to collect data and information. That's what you're talking about.
Primarily ManyChat, but really what you're working with is, so ManyChat's a software sitting on top of software. So anytime you have multiple software interactions, the points where they connect tend to break if one of the software changes. And so Facebook is constantly updating their terms of service. They're refining what they do and why they do it. Messenger is a Facebook product, but it's not the same. So there's Messenger rules, there's Facebook rules. Then of course there's Amazon rules, which we all know that, they
change it a blink of an eye. Yeah.
They change it up and then they enforce things if and when they see fit. And it's not always equitable or makes sense. Like for example, they shipped out 2 poopy swim diapers that a customer had returned to us last year. It's an FBA issue, right? We got a negative review and it's gotten 11 positive, like upvotes, like helpful. And I'm like, this is not helpful because it's not our fault. Like Amazon.
Right.
Amazon.
There's a couple questions to ask there. First and foremost, how does a poopy diaper enter into FBA facility?
I don't know. Somebody's not.
These are all the thoughts these are all the thoughts I go into. First and foremost, how does that happen?
It's got to be a hazmat issue, like a biocontainment something. I don't know.
Yeah, or someone really had to go. Well, you know the stories with Amazon and warehouses, like you can't make it to the bathroom if you're crossway, and you're like, "Yep, I know where the diapers section is." So.
Just pulling out of the cube.
Just got to go. Right, put it back, package it up, and you're on your way. Like,
yeah. So I was inspired last week. I'm like, I'm going to get to the bottom of this. No, I just spent an hour on the phone with the Seller Central support person who was in the captive team. I was like, if you can't help me, just transfer me. He was like, I am the captive team. And he kept telling me to request feedback removal. I'm like, buddy, this is the 5th time I'm telling you this. It's a review. It's not feedback. I cannot physically, there is no physical way for me to request removal of a review via the feedback interface. That is not possible. And he's like, I understand that, but that's what my boss is telling me. I'm like, well, then hand me to your boss.
Yeah.
And so, of course, the follow-up email was the exact same thing. I'm like, well, I guess we're going to have a nice review about somebody returning a poopy diaper.
Yeah, but you can't prove it or anything else. It's not helpful for the brand. And yeah, I mean, those are things like that where we're, as sellers are constantly battling the uphill. What is kind of the other pain points that you're doing in terms of mini chat, whether it's, the processes that you've built out for people? How are you trying to stay up to date? Is it working directly with them, or how are you keeping people up to date with that?
Yeah. So since we talked, I don't know that we talked much about the influencer strategy back at the end of the year. I think it was mainly mini chat.
It was mainly mini chat.
Yeah. So we started the chat agency back in September is when we started taking clients, and it was we started doing a beta test, and basically we were leading with the nano influencer framework. And the plan was initially that we're going to do a big build out of your audience, focus on audience growth, and then start driving traffic later. Because when you have audience, when you have people that support your brand, traffic becomes less expensive because the social proof, you're not having to fight that battle where they like recognize your brand. They recognize your brand, or theoretically, there's more social proof. I've tested this on many different occasions with different brands. Always the ones that have more social proof, the traffic just costs less. So that was what we were leading with, and we had to pivot in February because, quite frankly, what we had seen is that so there was 2 false assumptions that I was working with. One is when we started working with nano influencers in our brand, we were 2 years in to our selling journey. So I've always been a brand person at heart. I've always looked at Amazon as a means to an end. Amazon's a launch pad. It's where we're starting. It's not where we're ending. And so domination on Amazon is never my goal. That's one of the goals, but that's the side goal of domination in the space. Like I want to dominate my niche. So right. Amazon selling is a part of that strategy. And we also need to rank really well on Google. We need to have a ton of social proof. We need to get grassroots PR and mentions in blogs and appearances on TV and all that sort of stuff. It's all a part of the same goal, right? So that's the difference, is that instead of like my highest achievement being page 1 ranking, that's just one of many. And I think that's different than most Amazon sellers, that they look at building a brand, and first and foremost, so coming back to that brand course, one of the reasons why it hasn't been finished yet is, well, the 3 of us are all super busy. And that never happened, but I am still planning on releasing it. The challenging thing is that when you talk to people about branding, you can talk to 10 different branding experts and they'll tell you 10 similar but different things.
Right.
Because it's such a big concept. So this whole idea of branding and building an audience and generating buzz about your brand, a lot of people just don't do that. They don't understand the ways to do that. So we were trying to build audiences for people that most of the time didn't care about quality of content they were putting out or nurturing their audience. I mean, we had one customer who literally never replied to a support question in chat, ever. And so we're trying to run ads to past customers. And if you don't support your past customers, they're not going to really look at you very favorably. Right. And so we had to pivot and really focus specifically on driving traffic first, and then leveraging that traffic. Obviously, we're leveraging that traffic for sales, but then on the back end, converting those people into brand reps. And the results that we're getting from that are amazing. Like, I can confidently say that we are the best agency in the space to drive traffic, ranking for your listings, because we're not going to do it anemically. We're not just in it to take money from you and help you get to spot 1, that's cool. but we look at the long-term effect. Like, are you going to stick? And can we help you stick? And can we do this profitably? Because a lot of other agencies will do like this pay model, X amount per unit. We don't do that. We just have a flat retainer. And so everything that we do is designed around, I look at our client partners as if they're true partners, like my business as well, or at least I try to, because I don't like losing money. I don't like running traffic that's not profitable, and I don't assume they do. So that was a lot. That was a big verbal dump, but we've pivoted a bunch. We're seeing a ton of traffic. We're driving traffic for our clients. It's converting. Now we're running into issues like stockouts. So it's a better
It's
issue.
a little bit, yeah. That was gonna say that's a little bit better than not having like any sales at all. So. Right. For people who might like be new to this or listening to this, like you're talking about influencers, we threw out terms like nano influencers, micro influencers, influencers in general. Mm-hmm. What's the definition for you in the chat agencies? What's the definition of an influencer? Is it a certain amount of following, or is it the act of getting people to convert through product endorsement or anything like that to do an action?
Yep. So in general, an influencer is just a person with influence over others. That's all it is. A person with any influencer or any influence over others is an influencer. So a nano influencer, specifically on Instagram, is anyone with less than 10,000 followers. And the methods that we teach, we are really a lot more focused on, teach and implement are really a lot more focused on long-term relationship building with influencers and creating groups of people that have influence. And we partner specifically with nano influencers. So I'm sure people have heard influencer marketing, micro influencers have been a buzz. Now people are excited about nano. And there's various tiers of influence. There's nano, micro, there's mid-tier, mega, macro. I don't know. It goes all the way up, millions and millions. I want people to think through influence in a different sense, that every single person has influence. It just depends on like where that influence is. Some people are really good at Instagram. They're just naturally good. They've got a good eye for photography, or they understand it. Like, I feel like I understand Clubhouse. Like it's a medium that I get. Like it's not a hard thing for me. I don't necessarily get Instagram because I'm not constantly taking photos and posting them. It's just not what I do like naturally. But there are people that do that. So anybody on Instagram really theoretically could be an influencer, because the people that follow them are their friends and family. Their friends and family will generally be swayed by the opinions of their friends, right? So if you come to me and let's say you're visiting Colorado and you say, hey, what are some great activities we can do with our friends or with our family while we're here? I'm going to give you a whole list, right? Now I have influence because we're friends. I live here. And so you're going to ask me. So theoretically, I could parlay that into like making money by driving you to some sort of resort or whatever that I could get paid from. So that's one example of influence. The way that we look at it is I'm not super obsessed with ROI when it comes to influence. And the reason for that is I look at it more of in the eyes of earned media and the value behind that earned media, which is a publicity term. When you get a placement on Rachel Ray, that's earned media because you didn't pay for it, right? They
saw value in what you have to offer.
Right, exactly. They like when we were on the Rachel Ray show, they flew us to New York. They paid for the tickets. They paid for our hotel. They got us to and from the studio. It was earned media. Like we didn't pay for that. They actually paid us. We won $10,000. So they paid us. So I think it's funny because we'll get these pitches every now and again in my email that like these total spam, like 3 a.m. cable TV shows that are like, we've got this great thing and it's this awesome opportunity for you and it's only cost $5,000. I'm like, that's a great deal for you.
Yeah. Where do I win in this capacity?
Right. So that's what I look at in between paid media and earned media, right? Paid media is advertisings, advertisings. That's not a real word. Advertisements, anything like that, right? That's paid media.
Right.
Earned media is like something that you put in sweat equity. You get coverage in a blog, or you get, called to be on a show or something like that. But there is still time and money invested in getting earned media. You're just not paying it to the person. Sometimes with influencers, it's earned. sometimes it's paid. And that's where the conversation is really can be a little bit confusing, because historically it's all been paid media. Most of the sites that you're going to go to that you can find influencers to work with, those people are in the business of getting sponsorships and getting paid. They're not in the business of helping your brand grow. And the majority of those people, in all honesty, I would never hire, because their audiences are like bombarded all the time with John and Susie's, pitches all the time. It's like your friend that's in a multi-level marketing thing and they just won't shut up about it. And they always want to have dinner with you. And you know that it's not dinner. It's actually a sales pitch. It's a pitch. Yeah, exactly. And like, nobody wants that. Nobody wants to follow your friends that it's like constantly a sales pitch. Like, that's not engaging content. And so that's where the line is really thin, and the expertise really comes into play, because you could really lose your ass working with influencers, or you could really do great, or you could spend a whole bunch of time and get nothing and not pay anything either. So to sum it up, if I can, I think I went all over the place. To sum it up, I would say everybody has influence. If you treat people with respect and you want to build relationships with them and build things that are win-wins for everybody, like, that's where I start. It may not always work. You're not always going to get yeses, but it's a lot more fun to build a group of friends, and a lot easier to work with people that you can view as your friends than it is to just look at somebody as an adversarial. Well, you're just trying to get money out of me. Come on, that's not a good relationship anyway.
Right. So, I mean, I hear a couple of things when I hear that. I hear adding value to some sort of category or relationship, not just like, hey, I'm going to pay you for a transaction for you to promote such and such product. I'm valuing you for like education or just content awareness or just thought leadership or something like that. Seems like that's the approach, instead of a, like, pay first, right? Hopefully you get like eyeballs later.
Exactly. So whether or not you pay, you will be paying. You're going to be paying in time. You're going to be paying in money. You'll be paying in rewards and stuff. Like, you obviously you don't want to, I mean, I'm saying obvious because it's obvious to me, but maybe somebody wants to take advantage of other people. You're not going to get very far if that's your motive, right? You get as much as you can for as little as you can pay. Those relationships don't really go very long. I mean, try that with your wife, right?
I have, Tori. Yeah. We've all tested the boundaries, right?
Yeah. See how well that works. It doesn't work. And so you have to go into it really wanting to benefit the other person and trying to see through it from their eyes. Quite simply, a lot of influencers overvalue themselves. Some influencers don't value themselves enough. And so your job as the force of good would be to help that person along their path, whatever that may be. So we have, when we work with people, we kind of have these ascension models where we guide them through like best practices, how to be a better influencer, how to take better photos, how to take more engaging content, how to post things that your audience is going to like and engage with. So that's really our sweet spot. Now, because of the work that we've done building this massive group of nanos, we do have a few mid-tier and mega influencers that do shout outs for us. We don't sponsor them. In fact, we don't generally have a formal relationship with most of them, but the door is there where we could formalize that relationship. So for example, there's a lady who pretty sure she lives in Brazil. I know she's Brazilian. So it's something like South Florida or something, but Brazil is a market that we're looking at entering. I would be willing to actually pay her like a salary as an ambassador because she posts engaging content. It's appropriate for our brand, she's someone that has proven she already likes us. She works with us. She's worked with us before. She loves our stuff. She's not doing it to get paid. Those are the people that I will pay, because they're not doing it to get paid. They're doing it because they love the brand, and that's different. The people that are doing it to get paid, I may not pay them. I may not hire them, because it's different. They I want people to promote us that love us more than I love us, which we have people.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, because like you're putting, thought behind it, not just like, how can I get this out the door in order to achieve check mark from client. So in that regards, how are you measuring? So if I'm starting out a brand and I go to you for like a tip to start or to like work with an, or micro influencer, again, those are just like varying degrees of like, what do you consider influence? What is the best way to either approach or like find these people? Because like obviously once you find them, what's the next step to vet these people, make sure they're either legitimate or they're, have a good following or engagement following? What are those different tips that you suggest that people look into?
Well, first you need to see if your brand's actually in a position that influencers would want to work with you. You got to start there. And that was the false assumption that we started with, just assuming that everybody was in a position to be worked with. And quite simply, if you have never paid attention to social, you've never posted, or maybe you post every now and again, super infrequently, you have like, 3 followers, it's you, your dog, and your mom are following your social media account, you're dreaming. No influencer is going to work with you, because the influencers are in the business of looking good. It's not going to look good for them to hang out with the people that don't look cool. Think of it as a really stupid junior high popularity contest. Like, the cool kids want to hang out with the cool kids, and if you don't look cool, they're not going to hang out with you. That's all it is. It's humans are humans. The same psychology that functions in junior high, still in the back of our brains. We're still driven by the same motives. We want to look good. We want to feel appreciated and feel loved. And that's how people do this in the influence. So you have to see that you're ready. So, right. Yeah.
So I was going to say, like, what does that feel and look like for you guys? Is that like a certain number of followers? Is that like just is that like a brand focus where they're like putting out content? Like, how do you look and feel ready? Like how am I going to quantify this to somebody who's listening to this and say, like, I have, like 60 posts and I have some educational piece and I have about 1,000 followers or so from past customers.
Good.
Like,
honestly, that's better than, that's good. It's a good start. Starting is better than not. Mm-hmm. Imperfect action is better than perfect action taken. Like, you just wait for the perfection, right? You want to start and just make mistakes and go. So like the actual number, that's going to be different depending on your niche, your competition. So supplements, for example, man, it's just supplements are challenging.
It's rough.
It's rough because it's a hard proposition. So there's everyone and their mom seems to be selling supplements these days. And when you're bombarded with 25 different offers from supplement companies, which one are you going to pick? The one that pays you the most and the one that makes you look the best? Or the one that, there's all this, you have to look at the value proposition. Like, how well known is a supplement company? What's it going to do for me, the influencer? Like, is me aligning with you, is that going to help me grow my brand? So all of you got to think through. So if you have a super unique product that is really innovative, think like Shark Tank level, like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. You have a stronger bargaining chip to work with influencers at a lower, like, social proof level than, say, a supplement brand that has 2,000 followers. When there's other supplement brands on average have, 25, 50, 30, 300,000. It's insane. So it's different per niche. You got to think of the competition. How much competition is there? How unique are you in that field of competition? And I'm not talking like, I don't know what you think is unique. Like, truly, are you unique? Because I think there's a lot of confirmation biases in how we function as business owners. We think that we're more unique than we are, and do that all the time. So
my wife tells me I'm special every day. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry. It's Friday, man. It's this is the thing, Paul. You'll probably I go to her with Clubhouse and I go, like, this is the most like ridiculous thing. Like, right, I have a unique like background in history. And I think like, oh, this is so weird that all these people are following me because of my like story or whatever. And she's like, I'll be the person in the back and telling you suck, like, and make you like bring you down in the group instead. And I go, thank you. This is what I need. Like, don't get a big head about it. Like my wife said, I'll be the one who keeps you grounded. Don't worry.
That's good. My wife is the same. She showed up in one of my room the other day. Like, I've been running it since the start of January, and she finally came. It's good. I'm glad.
That's nice. That's nice that she decided to join you. Like, hopefully she's in the same room, or she's like looking around, and then you see she's on Clubhouse looking for you. Paul, I need you to come find me.
I need you to do the dishes. Get off Clubhouse.
Exactly. Well, going back to like a brand thing like is special. Like
Right.
we all have a value prop in some way, shape, or form, whether it's different from competition or it's completely unicorn in its idea and thought, whether it's a product or service. So going into that, you're finding people who are like-minded. Are there easy tips that you can maybe suggest? Like you can find these people, whether it's like competition, kind of like spying or like social listening. What are the ways to find these people?
So here's what I wouldn't do. I wouldn't go to a place like, no offense to the owners of these companies, but I would not use Thomason or Intellifluence or anything like that. Specifically because the people that are there to get paid, which again, that's not a bad thing, but I want to work with people that I can start a relationship with and like they can connect and like they like the product and then they want to promote it. Quite simply, those sites and those services were set up to just basically help people get social shout outs, but they weren't really looking at like how effective they were. So the process that I would take, so let's say you pass the test, you have, I don't know, a seasoned account, say 2 or 3 or 4 months, you're posting content, getting natural organic followers, you're not paying for fake followers, the engagement's real, the content quality that you're putting out is decent. Then I would start looking at, you could potentially do outbound. There's 2 methods, outbound or inbound. So I prefer inbound. The downside of inbound is that it's going to cost you ad money, ad revenue to get people to come and contact you. Outbound is easier for people to get started doing. It's just not, generally speaking, as effective, and it is very time consuming. So the outbound method would be, you can just go to, say, start with Instagram, right? Go to Google and you do search operators, Ryan?
I have heard of them, yes.
So a search operator would be like site : and then I'd do Instagram.com. And then I would put in like -explore because I want to remove the explore page. I don't want to see that. I want to see actual accounts. So can I share my screen? I think I can.
Yes, you can. Yeah, and then I can throw it up down there. Yeah, I've heard Norm talk about this too, because for those who might not know, like Norm and Shane, who've also been on the show, both are advocates and business partners, I believe, into the agency. So yeah, when you're ready, I can throw it up on the screen for people.
I'm ready. So cool. You can see, like I have a couple searches already pre-filled out. So like explore, so like baby spam is a search term or a thing that people would say about like in our demographic. So let's pick a new demographic instead, if I could spell correctly. .com. So I'm going to do, and then what niche should we pick, Ryan? What's good? We'll do.
I mean, yeah, I could say like baby or toy. Yeah, I was gonna say dog treats or something like that.
Yeah. Do a bully stick. So it basically just returns a whole list of people. So there's Bully Stick Central, Mr. Bully Sticks Direct. It looks like a lot of these are, let's see,
like just variations of bully sticks.
Well, it looks like a lot of them could be brands, so I'm going to change it up. So puppy spam. Dear Lord, baby Jesus, please let this not be inappropriate. Okay,
it's good. Okay. We've marked inappropriate for those watching on YouTube, so we won't get kicked off.
It's already inappropriate. You're like, it's definitely going to be inappropriate.
I do that for everyone because who knows when they're going to drop an F-bomb or something inappropriate. But,
right.
So that's the
so like that for Ariana Grande. Okay, so she's not.
She likes puppy. She likes puppies and maybe have promoted puppy spam.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is one dirty puppy spam. Okay, so we'll see what they mean by dirty. So that would be a no. Oops. Like, yeah, that one may work.
This person's holding a dog and
she has 100.
Had the blue check mark.
Yeah, she has 165,000 followers. She's got this super puffy. I don't know. It looks. What is it? A chow? I don't know. It looks like a chow.
I was gonna say it looks like a chow.
Chows are dicks. I don't like. They are. The chows are mean. This would work. 913 followers. She's got this cute dog, cute kid.
Student nurse. So she's not doing this full time.
Yeah, photo quality not the best, but it's not terrible. And this is great because like if you're wanting to run a family brand, pet brand focused around families, like this would be an ideal account because she's got 913 followers. She's a student nurse graduating in 2022. So chances are she could probably use a little bit of extra money on the side. We'll look at this person, Hannah Michalek, 201,000. So working with her would be hella expensive. Same with this Alex Murphy. So that would be, if I was doing this manually, that's what I would do, is I would just start at Google because it's free. I mean, there are other tools that can aggregate data like this. But if you're looking at doing it for free and doing it yourself, I mean, this is something you can train. We have trained VAs to do this. It's literally list building. And this is obviously the manual approach. So
in reaching out to these people, are they going direct to their messaging, or are we, finding their contact information and then reaching out that way?
Yeah. So there's two methods. What the first would be that I would do is, first and foremost, you want to follow those people. Okay. You want to start engaging with the posts. And I'm not talking like a little like and like, oh my gosh, cute family. You want to look at their posts and you want to comment something specific to the post. Like, okay, so I'm going to, one of these photos.
Looks like you and your family had a great vacation on the beach in Florida or whatever.
Yeah. Like
you basically you can take their comment and regurgitate it into what you posted.
Exactly.
Or what they posted.
If you do that, so there's a method for growing your Instagram following. It's called the 5-3-2-1 or 5-3-1 method. You follow people that are in your niche, comment like 5 of their posts, comment on 3 of them, and then generally you'll get 1 follower. If you do that 100 times a day, you generally get 100 followers. Say you don't get 100, you get 80.
I've never heard that. I've never heard that method. So you're liking 5 of their things.
Yeah.
Is this what VAs are constantly doing to me? I now can see that model.
So think of it like this though, but if it's spammy, like I've made a ton of money using NFTexchange.org or whatever, like, like the recent ones or what are the spam? I'm getting a ton of spam now about
drop shipping. I can get you multi-channel fulfillment on Walmart, blah, 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 blah. All these ones that they like 5 of my posts. They commented, hey, I just sent you a message on my comment or as a comment. I'm like, what the hell? Like you've been trained incorrectly, whoever you are.
So
5 likes, 3 comments, and you generally get 1 follower out of it?
Generally speaking. But again, the more spam crap enters the field, the harder it's going to be for us people that aren't spamming. You got to think through too. This is why building legit followings in social media is challenging, because everyone's looking for a shortcut. They're looking for the fast hack, the quick trick. And so then they hire, and it's like the same cookie cutter message. And they're surprised when they're paying their VAs and they're not seeing anything from it. It's just, you can't be spammy. It's just like expecting to get good reviews on Amazon with garbage products. It's not going to happen. Like, you got to start premise 1, great product, really well optimized listing, like something above and beyond that the competition offers, other than ours is blue.
Ours is blue, not pink. Like, you should work with us now.
Right. So anyway, that would be the way that I would do this if they don't have an email listed on their account. Okay. If there's not a website, if there's no link in bio, then I would do that over time. And I'm not going to do it like all at once. Okay. I'm not going to do it 5 in one day. It's going to be think of how you meet people in real life. There's steps to relationship building. Let's say that you want to get married. You're not married. You're young Ryan wanting to get married. You're not going to ask the first person that locks eyes with you, hey, you want to get married? Like, that is freaking weird.
They make TV shows out of that now. It's called 90 Day Fiance or Married at First Sight. Well, it's a great social experiment that probably often doesn't work.
It's the same concept, because you're giving them a proposal. You're proposing something to these people that literally don't know you from Adam. They don't know. They've never met you. And it's going to come across salesy and spammy. And the whole point of what I'm trying to get across is that it's about building relationships. You can't build relationships overnight with people. It takes time. And this is why what we tell people when they work with us is that this is not a short-term trick. If you're looking for immediate ROI from influencers, go somewhere else, because that's not us. Like,
so what's that first engagement looking like for me a brand? Like I go out and say like, yeah, what's that first conversation?
So if you're talking to influencers or if you're talking to us and you want to hire us?
Influencers.
Okay, so if you're talking to influencers, then what you want to do, just keep it casual. Keep it casual. And you can do this from your brand account. You can do it from your personal account. It just depends on what foot you want to lead with. But you just, comment like your family looks like, honestly, like this. Here, I'm going to share my screen again. Like this picture, like her kids are really cute and they look funny. Like they look like my kids. Oops, I'm not sharing a video file.
It's okay.
They look like my kids would get along with her kids. So like I would say something like this, like, oh my gosh, your kids are adorable. Like look at this little panda babe. That is adorable. What a cute kiddo. And like this reminds me of my son. He's a little goofball. So I would say, oh my gosh, your family looks adorable. Looks like, I mean, that may be creepy too. You never know in this world that we live in. But it's, maybe gradual, like liking a photo. Like that looks like super fun. I wonder where this is at. They must live near the ocean or something because we don't get this many sea photos where we live. So I don't know. I would just keep it casual and wait for them to reply. And you want to have a couple interactions with them back and forth before you pitch them anything.
Right.
Chances are if you've built a decent following and you comment from your business account, they'll see that you're commenting and they might feel flattered. They might reply, they might not. I would do this from my business account because it carries more weight than my personal account.
I was going to say, do you feel like there's a psychology behind using a business account with a decent following, whether it's a couple thousand? I always feel like there's a psychology in terms of like flattery, like especially for micro and nano influencers of, oh my gosh, like a company like Rachel's Yard Barn down the street likes my stuff. Like, that's cool. Like they have 1,000 or 2,000 followers. Like I must be doing something neat. And it almost is like that, like breaking into the opportunity of like,
right.
You get value from a different perspective. It's almost validation. Does that make sense?
Yep. So you got to do this slow and steady. You're not going to go on like the first spammy, hey, I'm Rachel. I'm a brand rep from xyzcompany.com. Check out our main account and send us an email or a DM. Like that's so spammy and stupid. So slow and steady, and then just say, hey, your kids are adorable. We think that you guys would make great reps. What's the best way to connect or something? Maybe they'll DM you. But again, like with Instagram, if they're not following you, then your message will go to their spam inbox. With personal accounts, you have like primary and requests, which requests is basically the spam box is how it is. With businesses, there's primary, general, and requests. So there's like 3, which still doesn't make much sense, but whatever. They're trying.
Trying to filter out the crap. Exactly.
Right. So think of it that way. So if they have a blog listed, if they have an email listed, then I would go to their blog and I would follow their blog and I would message them through the blog or the email. People are going to check their email if they have it listed on Instagram. They have it listed for a reason. They want you to email them business opportunities. So just be aware that if you do that, most likely it's going to come to some sort of type of negotiation. What you don't want to do is work with somebody that says, okay, here are my rates. You get one photo for $300 and that's it or something. I want more creativity. If they're going to charge you up front, I want more creativity put into it. But again, I'm looking at from us, we have a decent following on Instagram. The total reach that we had last year was in excess of about 8 or 9 million spread across all of our brand reps.
On your brands?
Yeah. So our brand with Bow and Bell Littles. And
right. I was going to say, you had referenced them and the comment that you had put on LinkedIn. If people are watching on Facebook, again, everyone welcome. If you're watching or listening to this, Bow and Bell Littles is Paul's brand. And you said that you've built a framework around working with those brands like yours. And the value is over the past 4 years alone, you've done over 7-figure mark with nowhere near that in spend. So your investment in time of building a brand has equated into dollar signs at the end of the rainbow, basically.
Right. Yeah. And so you make sure. So this is earned media value. Okay.
Right.
So not directly.
I was going to say, how are we measuring all this? Like obviously working with the influencer, going down that rabbit hole of
Right.
They have a following, they have engagement. How are we measuring success working with these people at the end of the day?
So if you're driving sales, if you're wanting to drive sales, the best way to do it would be through attribution. If you have access to brand analytic, or if you're not brand gated, my mind just went brand registry. There you go.
Right. Registry. Sorry.
Yeah.
My mind was a little slow today as well.
Yeah. Don't worry. I'm slow every day. So if you have access to attribution, then that's a good way to test. A great thing that people aren't really utilizing is the social promotion link, which is just a promotion that you can set up inside Seller Central. It's different. It's different than the coupon link, or group coupon code. The social is designed specifically for social. You give it to people, they click, their audience clicks the link, and then it automatically applies the discount at checkout. And
very cool. So yeah, what are you offering? You're telling like these brands, if like you've gone down the rabbit hole, it's a good fit, you're offering them or sending them to this product page that you yourself are setting up in Seller Central?
So first, what we're doing, say everybody pass the test. So working with us, we first start off with an audit, and we charge $500 for the audit. And that's something that we do to basically as a service. It's going to give you a roadmap, whether you want to work with us or not. We're going to give you like, here are steps that you can take to go to the next level. And we do that because we need to have a roadmap for ourselves, because every client partner is different. You know, one person came to us, they're not needing any influencer stuff. They have over 1 million followers on Facebook already. Like they're killing it. What they need is they need
good for
more
them.
help. Yeah, they're doing a great job. And, you know, they're actually our easiest client partner, because what we're doing is we're driving them reviews, we're driving them sales traffic, and it's all through chat. Now, if you're wanting to build out your influencer thing, so like most of our client partners, we'll go through this. We identify, okay, what does your social media strategy look like? You know, how long have you been posting? Do you have a social media account manager? What is that interaction with us going to look like? If we have something to give to them, how quickly will they respond to us? How many products do you have in your library available now? What's the stock level of those products? What's the lead time on those products? What are the margins on your products? Because I'm concerned about the holistic view of the business, right? If we're going to start driving traffic for you, I want to know how much it'll take to be profitable. Quite simply, if you have a 13% profit margin, I don't even know how you're in business, first and foremost. Secondly, like, this isn't going to really work for you, because you got to think of the costs associated with working with us. In addition to the retainer, you have to pay ad costs, right? We're going to drive traffic to Amazon for you. So that's Facebook ads. Most of the time, you're going to have to give some sort of promotional discount, whether that's a freebie, a buy one, get one, a discount, something along those lines. If you don't have a high enough margin, you're never going to be profitable. So those are all things that we take into consideration. Then we figure out, okay, step one is going to be, we're going to start driving you traffic. We're going to do these things. So maybe somebody needs to stick on page one. They're fine with traffic, but they're not getting good reviews. So we'll put together a strategy to help them get more reviews consistently so they can stick on page one. All while we're doing this, in the back end, what we're all about is building communities for people, right? Mm-hmm. So that's always the eye of what we're doing. It's not just launching to launch. That's cool, but launching while building an audience, getting reviews while building an audience, so that when you launch new products, it's less expensive. So that's the process that we generally take people through. Once we figure out audit. We have a rough morning, apparently.
The audio idiot audit.
Yeah. Once we figure out how long phases are going to take in the audit, then we start going to work and looking at the low-hanging fruit, driving traffic, increasing sales, leveraging those people to turn into nano influencers. What we're seeing with accounts that have come to us. So one of the accounts, I'll look at the case study if I can find it.
While you're looking for that, is there a timeline that it takes to like turn around all this like work? Like, I know you guys as an agency, you're building out these quote unquote influencers, and you're probably classifying them in different categories and probably different, like only with baby or only with toys or only with whatever the product might naturally fit. What's kind of like from inception all the way to like working together, they're starting to drive sales and see like actual results. Is that a month timeline, 2-month timeline? What's
Yep.
it? How quick is that turnaround?
Yeah, since we pivoted, we're seeing results within about a month and a half, maybe up to 3. I would say within a month and a half, because we were really heavily focused back in the fall on building audience first. And again, quite simply, that's a long task that most people aren't willing to pay, a couple $1,000 a month for 4 months just to build an audience.
To have
So
people who are not converting. Exactly. Yeah.
right, because the audience building phase is different than the sales converting phase. It's not the same. But you can build an audience while generating sales. So that's what we've switched and pivoted to: driving sales first, finding offers that convert, because there's experimentation there. Maybe a 20% off offer converts and it's really profitable. We're not going to know until we test it. It could be 40%.
Right.
It could be, again, if you're in the supplement space, could be 70% plus a full rebate plus a free bottle or something. I don't know. But we're not gonna know what converts until we test. So first we're running traffic, testing what offers convert. And then on the back end, we're going to follow up with those people to see most of the time, these are paying people that have paid even something for your product. So the list quality right there is immensely better than people that have just gotten a free product, because there's no barrier to free. People don't even need to be in the market for your product. It's free. Maybe they list it on eBay. So generally speaking,
or to resell it.
Yeah, or to resell it. So this particular company, they're in a small niche. It is really competitive. They hired us on October 20th. We began signing reps for them in November. We built this case study starting in February. Currently, we have a total of 36 reps signed up, and we expect about 144 photos or videos per month from each one of these reps. And those are the pieces of KPIs that we're measuring against. Now, we are driving sales as well. I don't know if we had that. This one is not fully complete. We're looking more at this, like the social proof. So the value in influencer shout outs that this brand has received so far, as the date of this, was $12,400 in shout outs. So that would be as if they were paying the influencers for every one of those shout outs, which is huge. Value in lifestyle photo shoots, like photos that they've gotten, is about $3,500 worth in photos. So this is money that they're not.
You're equating their investment in you to what they actually would get if they were working one-on-one in value of like marketing. Essentially, you're trading marketing value for your services and connecting people quickly with these kinds of micro and smaller influencers, where I know for a fact, like, there are people out there and influencers, for one video, it would be $3,500 just to be on YouTube. And that's like, you and I know those people, and just that's in the e-commerce and Amazon space for services, not let alone products and things like that. So it can get expensive quickly, but that's a really cool value translation into what you do get versus like what you're paying for already. So that being said, that's just on one platform, right? That's just on Instagram. Are you guys working with so you're measuring what all platforms that you are seeing convert? Instagram, I'm assuming Facebook. Easily.
Right now we're really focusing, I'm not going to say exclusively on Instagram. We have started doing some stuff with TikTok, but we're still beta testing these offerings. Like I said, we had to pivot back in February because we were kind of putting the cart.
Because Facebook sucks.
Facebook is stupid. Well, there's all sorts of stuff. There's a lot of reasons we had to pivot. Basically the main pivot was coming down to, we wanted our people to start seeing ROI that they could measure, not this value, right? So those value, that $3,500 is money that they didn't have to pay for photo shoots. Now that's great if they were going to pay for a photo shoot. Not everybody's going to do that, even though they need them. Not everybody's going to do that. So
people are lazy. They want free photos, like iPhone photos, right?
Right. The average Amazon seller generally, they just care about, okay, what's my ranking and how many units am I selling? Am I making more money now that I hired you, or am I not? And this is where I have to, again, we're very selective with the people that we hire because they have to have the long view. With the ROI, what we're really focusing on, like I said, the switch is driving traffic, where we're tracking sales, and we're looking, and all of those case studies are still being built. I just know that out of the clients that we have now, the results that we're getting are really, really good. To the point that
That's fantastic.
To the point that a handful of them are looking at rebate strategies were a cornerstone of maintaining rank. They're looking at cutting those out because of the traffic that we're sending is supplanting that. So that's ad cost. That's cost that they're saving, which is huge. So
yeah. So the measuring component is one thing, and I obviously performance marketing is my strong suit as well. My thought to you guys would be if they go off platform, say for example, they see it on an influencer, they talk to like their husband, and then they search for it, like measuring like off channel or not through that, and they're just searching. Like then they find it on their like own iPad or something like that.
Yeah,
like,
the best,
multi-screen, like confusion, like opting out, opting in, and then you happen to see it again.
And this is why I try to really drive home that this is a brand building activity.
Right.
That if you are dead set on tracking every cent, it's never going to happen, because this is brand awareness. And the way that I think of it is that if I invest my time and effort into being like everywhere, if all the people that are looking at buying swim diapers say Bow and Bell Littles is the best, like if they're doing their research and they see, because we know that our demographic research is because they're young moms. Most of the time they're researching because oftentimes it's their first purchase, new baby. You know what it's like when you're a new parent. You're like uber.
Yeah. You're hyper. Yeah. What's the best brand? Like I need to give them the best.
Right. So that is where we know that we dominate because of this strategy. Now I can't necessarily say 100% that the reason why we're ranked so highly in nearly every best of list is because of this, or the fact that like we had TJ Maxx, a buyer from TJ Maxx, and I don't know, whatever the other one, they called us recently. Last year we had a buyer from Pottery Barn Kids reach out to us. In 2019 we had Michael Phelps' agent reach out to us. We just had a licensing deal go through with an author. And then we just got another contact that PBS may be interested in a separate deal with us. This doesn't happen.
Excellent.
This doesn't happen accidentally. And the thing is that if you're looking to say like Scout's Honor, like this is 100% the reason, I can't honestly tell you that in good faith. But I can tell you that I know those things would not happen if we didn't do this.
Right. They're not like aggregate, and this is why the conversation is so important for people to understand the difference between branding and also exiting your business, or like trying to exit quickly. Branding, you're going to get unvalued opportunity in these kinds of arenas because you have built an equity in something that can be measured fully. Right. An aggregator is going to look at your business in terms of like sales numbers, how many you're turning, how many orders you're going to do, and how much inventory you're going to constantly be growing with. Like those are numbers that all can be put towards a valuation. Brand is an unvaluable. It can fluctuate. I can value your brand at $1 million. Rachel Ray, or like you said, like any of those companies can say like, oh, we can like opt you into all these places and say it's $3 million. Like, right. Because it's not just your inventory. It's like the community that you've built, the awareness that people have. That's not something you can measure. Like, right. It's like the Kleenex effect, right? It's like, hey, hand me a Kleenex. Like you do it without saying it, and or like, hey, send me a Bow and Bow, product or swim diaper or whatever you guys products. I'm not specifically going to call out what you guys sell, but hand me that brand, and that becomes now sort of the cadence of what you are doing. So that's why it's important for everyone who's listening to this is there's a difference between branding and growing, and why people are going to bring value to that versus, just products and like, I'm going to do $10 million in sales and that's it. Like, exactly. And then exit my business. So you guys are doing it the harder way. It's harder for sure. It
is harder. And so this is my last bit. I know we're coming up on the hour.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's stuff like this. So if I go to Amazon, I just did Amazon swim diapers. I meant to we'll just go to swim diapers. We'll do this. So, oops, not Amazon. Swear to God, I'm not mentally deficient, Ryan.
No, man, so, it's a Friday. Our brains are turning off slowly.
Yeah. So like if I'm going to click over to Amazon and look at whatever their initial result is, we have the bestseller badge. We sell at $16.97 for one. This is our biggest it's different because Huggies is disposable, we're reusable. It's funny, I met these people, I can very clearly tell they love what we do because all of their marketing is basically copying ours, which cracks me up. But I mean, we rank really decently well in like our number one SKUs. Like we have no problem maintaining multiple spots on page one at twice the cost of our competition. So Store Baby, they have, that's a Chinese company. They have one swim diaper for $10. Ours is between $15 and $16. Some of them, these are two for $12.99, but we still sell ours. You know, that's the value of a brand. The value of
right, because you're be able to sell it higher because people opt in the quality of it.
Right. The value,
and it's the brand value.
Exactly. The value of the brand is that we have a moat. We can ask more for our products because we built a good name. People understand that if chances are they're going to go here, and if you've never heard of this before, they're going to be like, why is this one $16 and why is that one $10? So I'm also playing a lot in psychology, because psychological triggers, when you see something that's like, why is that so expensive? It must be good. So
right.
If you have a shitty product and you price it double, it's not going to be selling very well for very long.
Yeah.
Because people are going to see that it's just overly inflated. Ours is really good quality. And so again, that's the way that I think is like, I'm not going to be playing in the sandbox with the 20 and 10 and 20% margins. I'm looking at 50 and 60 and 70% margins because that's what you get when you establish a brand. You have a moat. You have a reason, like you can justify selling, you know, your Chanel handbag for $3,000 freaking dollars. It's a leather bag. It's a bag.
Right.
$3,000. It's absurd. But that's the value in the brand, is that they're buying the name. They're not buying the product. And it would be a fallacy to assume that just because you sell on Amazon, you can't do that. I mean, look at Anchor, Anker. That brand, they had a public valuation. I mean, Kevin King brought up Art Naturals the other day. They're an Amazon native brand, but now they're carried in Walmart. They're everywhere.
Yep.
And they've done a good job of building a brand. And people that do this, it is harder a little bit, but in my head, you're really going to be spending the same amount of money doing it the right way. It's just going to take a little bit longer, but in the end, it's going to be immensely more valuable. And if you want to sell, you're going to be in a better position. If you don't want to sell, you're going to be in a better position. It's just a better way to build your business.
You have staying power. Yeah, you have staying power. You have a lot more opportunity ahead of you. And it's not just a turn and burn. Like, again, those are for some people, but in terms of branding and want to like do it right and know that you built a quote unquote brand, I think that always supersedes anything of like, hey, I figured out how to sell I think Paul Ralphson said this the other day, the 20 best avocado slicer and just like, then sell it. And then instead of like the number one ranking bestseller consistently for a branded term or a phrase,
right.
Like those are two completely different things that people are looking for. Yeah.
They're different business models, and both work. Both have worked. I just like mine better.
Yeah. Well, you're allowed to. With that being said, yeah, Paul, I know like, obviously I would love to like jump in like Clubhouse and all the other stuff. I know you have like a quote unquote busy, we'll call it busy day of
I got
spending time to yourself.
I got to go ride my bike to the disc golf course and play with my friends. It's terrible.
Well, and I was going to say, all the value that I'm seeing lately is for people. If you're watching this, again, follow Paul on Clubhouse. It's at Paul Barron. You have just a great following, but like you're not just talking Amazon. You're in a bunch of other rooms as well. What quickly for people who are, I've had Rich Goldstein on. I've had a couple other people talk about like the value of Clubhouse. You said that's kind of like the untapped potential. Like I get Clubhouse. How is that translating to branding and building awareness to yourself or other agencies or services or products as well?
For me directly, like I've built I'm speaking at Prosper this year because of Clubhouse. I was able to connect.
That's awesome.
Jeff Cohen. We've signed 2 or 3 clients specifically because of Clubhouse. And this is the thing. I was talking with Norm about this the other day because people asking like, is Clubhouse worth it? No, it's not. If you don't have a strategy, Clubhouse is not worth it. If you're trying to generate business for yourself, if you're just looking to go and learn more, it's great. It's an amazing thing. You just need to, whether you're looking at like edifying yourself or adding value to others, you need to be strategic about it, because Just like it's like with anything, it's gonna take time. The thing with Clubhouse is that you can't run it on autopilot. You can't have your VAs post for you. It's got to be you, and you've got to.
You can't be on camera and reading a teleprompter. You have to be legitimate in the like. That's the terrifying thing. Is like if I sound like an idiot, I'm gonna be like, people are gonna be like, what is this guy talking about? And like, definitely you miss out on an opportunity, right? But then if you're like legitimate and you're forthcoming and you sound like you want to help other people and give great advice, they're going to instantly opt into you as a thought leader.
Right.
That's how I see it.
Yeah. And it's positive and negative in that regard because it is voice. And there are people that are really good at lying and it doesn't come through.
That too.
So, I mean, go with caution, but it's just like everything in life, trust but verify. You know, if you're not going to go to a pine tree and start eating the apples on it because it's a pine tree, right? Like
it's a pine tree and there shouldn't be any apples on it.
Right.
Exactly.
There's apples on a pine tree. Why are there apples on a pine tree? So I guess that you got to trust but verify. Make sure that the people like they actually have proof behind what they're doing. This is one of the reasons why I've become more upfront with my brand. I guess I'm just a little bit sick and tired of the pseudo advice and the ninja hack tactics. Like, I don't feel like I've got it all figured out. I don't. Like, I'm still learning a ton, but at least, I mean, we do have results that show that even if it's all accidental, like the coincidences of having all these accidental successes are pretty astounding if it's accidental. So I don't think it's accidental.
I've been able to piece it together and like become successful through all these accidents.
Right. And so that's, I guess that's my heart, honestly, Ryan, is that my purpose as a human, is I know why I'm on the planet. Like this, like why I'm here is like, I want people to know that God is good, that he loves them, and that each person individually has a calling and a destiny and a purpose. And I can't do that if I'm sitting in my little office, only thinking about myself, if I'm only charging people for my advice. Simple fact of the matter is, if I help enough people, eventually people are going to say, hey, wow, I love what you do. Can I pay you? And that's happening. So that's why I'm on Clubhouse, because I really want to help people. So.
Yeah. And I think that's why we're in the service industry. That's why you start these ventures, and like obviously entrepreneurship versus, giving advice and everything like that. There's just, I want to see people succeed too. Like, I don't want this to be like a one and done for people. I wanted to see other people succeed. And by definition, it almost like pay it forward. Like you help other people succeed with the knowledge you have. It's going to afford itself, moving forward for yourself or other people. So yeah, I like that, man. That's, I mean, you have that reverend in you. Like, we obviously went different paths, but for one way or another, it's always about helping other people and not just taking, just giving. I love when rooms make you do that. It's like, what can you give to other people and not just take? Like, I hear that a lot. So, but we'll see you around. There's no rooms going on today, right?
I don't think, well, there's a Serial Entrepreneurs Club, which I would encourage every single person in here to join that. It's run by Colin, I think McIntosh. Colin.
You'll have to send it to me for sure. Yeah. Or post it on the link.
Yeah. So I'm going to try to be in that one. But again, I've got a busy day of disc golfing ahead of me. So
my God, like, just take your phone with you, like a normal human.
Like a normal, I will. So I
talk while you're disc golfing. You're like, shit, like I'm wide right. Look out.
Wide right. Where'd it go? The worst is when you know where it went and you still look for 30 minutes. And like, where did that stupid disc
Same
go?
with golf. I'm that in golf. But hey, for people who are looking for you or want to like reach out, obviously besides Clubhouse, is there other ways they can?
Clubhouse, if you send me a message, chances are I will read it and forget to reply. And I'm being completely honest here. Like, if I don't reply to your message, don't take it personally. I have a whole bunch of messages that I haven't replied to from my wife yet. So I'm just busy and ADD. So,
well, you'll get to be friends with Jerry, your assistant. I love Jerry. She's awesome. Continue to like pat her on the back for me. Like, she's amazingly quick at everything.
Yeah, she's incredible. Get yourself an executive assistant. That's like
that's what we're always striving for. But yeah, for everyone who's not following Paul on Clubhouse or just other social media or the chat agency, I put those links in the comments below for people to find out more information. Fridays are awesome. Like, I try to take it easy. It's Easter this weekend, so hopefully you and your family are kind of like taking it pretty chill throughout the weekend. But you're speaking at prosper. So you're going to be there. Is there any other events you're planning on for the upcoming?
There is one in China that I may or may not do. I just don't know if we can get there. They emailed me back in like January asking if I could do it. And I'm like, well, yeah, if I can legally
leave and
go to China. So I'm doing a mastermind. I'm calling it a fishing trip with Tim Jordan. So we're sort of testing. We're testing the waters as it. Oh, that's a good pun. We're testing the waters fishing to see if this is something that we feel like could work.
See if you can hook any other people on this.
Bop. Yeah, we have there's 9 guys going. I don't know how many. I think there's 9. Yeah, there's 9 of us going. Pretty small. So there's that. I've got a whole bunch of podcasts coming up too. So find me on Facebook if you want to see my random dad jokes that I post all the time.
I love it. I joined the dad joke Clubhouse room one night, and I was just like dying, and I think I was invited up, but I couldn't. Like I couldn't hold it together.
The one that reruns Perez. Oh, I love Ree. Yeah,
it's just like so good, and like I always think about it, but then I don't. You don't know if you said it earlier or whatever it is, but there's just so much good late night content in that regards. But yeah, I'm all about a good dad joke.
Okay, I got one to shut it down. This is an original.
Let's do it.
I'm not Catholic. My dad grew up Catholic, but this is a good one. So why are nuns obsessed with doing laundry?
To not be so holy. Oh man, there's something with holy in it.
No. They hate bad habits.
Oh jeez. For those Jesus Christ. Yeah. For those of my Catholic friends who are watching this, I apologize for saying that today, but yeah.
Oh come on,
that's good. That's good.
They think it's hilarious because they actually know what a habit is. Versus
yeah, I went to Catholic school my entire life, so I'm very much aware of it. So shout out to all the Catholics today, and for everyone who's Good Friday. That's a good way to shut it down. I was gonna say, Paul, this is my side comment. You need to start a podcast, man. Like I know everyone else is doing it, but I feel like you have a lot to share in terms of like content and
I'd love education. To. I'm honestly thinking of just parlaying what I'm doing on Clubhouse, and because I've been recording them and then just putting them out as a podcast. Yeah. It's like a easy win. I've already got like 30 hours of recorded content, so.
That's stuff you can just like slice and dice and add out there in terms of like just tagging other people or just specifically one-offing them. So yeah, I think that'd be good stuff. Everyone's doing it. You might as well jump in. Like drink the Kool-Aid.
I'll add it to my list of
things that your late night list. Yeah, start a podcast.
Stay up.
Yeah. Well, have a good weekend, man. Thanks for joining us here on the show. I appreciate again hopping back on with us. Anytime, you're more than welcome to hop on and talk about. I would love to know more about the case studies that you guys are seeing in terms of like effectiveness and how you're driving not just on Instagram but other platforms as well.
Yep. Yeah, I'll make sure that I send those to you when we're like I said, we were not getting the best results early on since our pivot. That's amazing. So we're building those actively now. So I'll get them to you once we get them put together.
Well, good stuff, man. Well, I appreciate your time here today. Thanks so much.
Likewise. See you, man.
Awesome. See you. Thanks again, Paul Barron, for the chat agency for hopping on again with Crossover Commerce. Again, if you are new to the show or if this is your 85th time, thanks for hopping on another episode of Crossover Commerce. I produce 4 to 5 episodes per week in the space, and next week's no different. So hop on. I have a bunch of different topics and content that we're going to be pushing through next week. I'm really excited to bring on just people across the board. So stay tuned. Follow me on social media on Instagram, Facebook, or LinkedIn. You'll be notified of future episodes going live, or you can rewatch them later on audio or video format. I'm Ryan Cramer, the host of this show. Thank you again, Paul Barron, for hopping on today. Happy Friday, everyone, and stay safe out there. Enjoy Easter weekend, and we'll catch you next time on Crossover Commerce.